ladies and gentlemen, to the Proper Picks podcast. We are in the Best Bets edition for our show today. Quickly, we're going to recap last week. Ugly week for the Proper Picks pod. We had a streak rolling, and it came to a halting finish, if you will. Ice cold is what I've been saying all week. 3-9 for the week, minus 6.56 units. I don't know what to say. I left Saturday night feeling extremely disappointed. We will recap quickly here as we look at on the left side of the screen. We've got the Major League Baseball recap. 0-3 minus 3.56 units. It's just no other way to scratch it. Blue Jays win by 1. Braves win by 1. And Oakland loses 7-5 in the 12th inning. 11th inning. We're up 5-3 going into the bottom of the 11th, and they give up 4 runs. It was just kind of a fitting way to end my baseball week. That was on Thursday night. Baseball's been good to us, not the best week for us. When I finished the Oakland game on Thursday at 0-3, didn't want to force any bets on baseball over the weekend because all my attention was shifted over to football. And I felt like I was pretty happy there because in, terrible fashion, a lot of people are going to push it, trying to get it back. I just said, you know what, I'm going to hold off on baseball for the rest of this week and just dive into football. As we started Thursday, Penn State got the win 35-31 over Purdue, picked us up our first win of the college football season. Notre Dame in the night game, plus 17, lost 21-10, and it was a close game the whole way. That was kind of what we expected out of Notre Dame. I didn't feel like they were going to win, but I felt like the line was a hair disrespectful to them, which is kind of was my same thinking and strategy on Oregon. And that Oregon game was probably the ugliest shit show I've ever watched in my life. And to be honest, that was the only game out of this whole slate here that I was actually, and maybe San Diego State, but I was disappointed in my prediction and my handicapping of it because Oregon, from the first kick, maybe when they ran out of the tunnel, Oregon looked like they were a bunch of high school kids playing against NFL superstars. Georgia just looked special. Now, does that translate the rest of the way? Who knows? But they look very special week one. NC State, this one was a little brutal. Got up 14. It was a 7-point game with, moving into the fourth quarter. NC State gets down to the 1-yard line twice, gets no points both trips. ECU ends up going 99 yards to the crib to tie it up, and then it was a back-and-forth ball game. ECU misses an extra point to go into overtime. Disappointing finish there. Houston, we went 1-1 on the game. As you can see near the bottom there, we took a second half Houston minus 3.5, kind of not necessarily hedging the first half, but we just had a strong feeling that Houston laid an egg in the first, and they really did. They came out and looked pretty damn solid in the second half. The only issue is they had the moment to get that -4 and just blew it in overtime, giving up a touchdown late. Missed 2-point conversion out of UTSA, and that's where the score sat, 37-35. And then San Diego State, that was probably the other game of the week after looking at it on Sunday, where I was just really disappointed in my handicapping because they did not look anything like defensively like they did last year. And with returning what they had coming back, all signs pointed that it was going to be tough for Arizona to move the ball. But kudos to Arizona. They look much improved from last year. That transfer portal really helped them out, obviously. And then moving into the Sunday game, LSU -3. I think everybody knows what happened in this one, so we don't really have to beat around the bush. LSU, to me, did not deserve to win this ball game at all. And then miraculously were there at the end of the game. Had several opportunities, to lose it in the last 5 minutes and still clawed their way back. We had a shot, missed the extra point. Florida State wins by 1. And then obviously the parlay does not hit as we missed the LSU and the Oregon while hitting Notre Dame. Football was 3-6, -3 units. So obviously for the week, we lose 6.56. When we slide over to the week 2 previews for the NFL and college football, you'll obviously be able to see the all-time record. We took a hit there. We were climbing over 50, and now we're back up. I believe it's up 43 units or something like that. So we're looking for a nice bounce back this week, and we'll slide on in over to our best bets for week 2. Alrighty, so as we roll into the best bets for week 2, this will also be week 1 of the NFL. Luckily, I won't say luckily, but basing off the strategy of week 1 not getting too crazy, we did take the 3-unit L in baseball, but we took the 3 units in football. I would think it would have been a lot worse if we went our normal unit structure there, but I always go light on week 1 just to kind of get a feel for where teams are at. I would say in a sense it paid off because we kind of limited the losses there. If you'll check over on the right side of the screen, we've got the overall board there. All plays at 492, 563, and 7. That has us up 43.78 units. College football off to a not so sexy start, 4-7 minus 4.65 units, and we will get underway with the NFL this week. And yeah, let's dive right into it. So, best bets for week 2 in college football. I've got a 5-unit, laid this on Sunday because I had a strong premonition feeling that this game was going to get moved opposite of our direction, and it has moved. It is all the way up to 12.5. But we've got Wake Forest -7. And if that shows you anything about betting early on your lines to get the side of it that you like, it doesn't always give you that closing line value that, you would want. That's the ideal play. But we're going to take Wake Forest -7. I think the world hyped up Vanderbilt too much after those 2 wins. Elon is terrible, let's be honest, and Hawaii might be competing for one of the worst teams in college football this year. So slow down, pump the brakes on Vanderbilt. Happy that they're 2-0 for them. Kudos to them. But Wake Forest is a way better football team than Vanderbilt. And to only be laying a touchdown there, I know it's on the road. It's in Nashville. We got an 11 a.m. start there. But I just think Wake Forest steamrolls Vanderbilt. I'm thinking 17 to 24 point win there. So anytime I get that feeling and we've got -7 on the board, I'm taking it. And then we've got UNC -6.5. Also laid this one on Monday to try and get ahead from it moving up. I believe it is all the way up to 7.5 at some sites. You can probably still get it at 7, which I still think is a fairly good play. But, we got Georgia State. South Carolina played Georgia State last week, got off to a very slow start, ends up winning the game, I believe, by 18. UNC, Florida A&M week 1 defensively didn't look very good. Offensively, they looked solid. Then they play App State, dropped 63 on App State. Now, the trick is they gave up 61. But my theory is, do we believe that Georgia State has App State's offense? I'm sure Georgia State's going to put some points on the board here, but all signs point to Drake May just being able to light up these defenses. And I just don't see this one close. We've got 3 units on that, and that's traditionally where I'm sitting on these college footballs. I'm going to have 1 or 2 bigger games for everybody that we're looking to scoop and score. Moving down the board, we've got Kentucky +6. We bet this 2 ways. I've got Kentucky +6 for 1 unit, and I've got Kentucky +195 on the money line. We laid these yesterday. I just think this is a little hair overreaction. Now, before the season started, all the prognosticators are saying Kentucky down in Florida, that's a W. And then in 1 week, Florida beats Utah. Kentucky wins their opener against Miami of Ohio, and all of a sudden now it's flipped that Kentucky's a 6-point dog. If Florida loses to Utah last week, will we see this thing probably more at Pick'em? That's what I'm thinking. Or maybe Florida by a point because they're at home. But I think 6 is way too much. I think Kentucky, this is going to be AK versus Levis. I think this game lately for Florida-Kentucky has been right down to the wire, field goal type ball game. Last possession type ball game, and I'm going to take Kentucky getting a 6. I think overall they got the better team here. I think Mike Stoops will have them ready. I think they're going to feel a little slighted and disrespected that they're the dog here in this ball game when they feel they've got the better program. No, Florida is no slouch by any means. I just think 6 is way too much. If this thing was down more in the pick 'em range, I think you could probably stay away from it. But I did want to sprinkle Kentucky on the money line, because I think they get the dub here, and we can almost collect 2 units on a money line bet there. And then USC, I've got -8.5 for a unit. We laid that today, as we always do, looking for the games throughout the week. I just get a feeling here, primetime 6:30 ABC, Lincoln Riley gets his first real national debut audition in front of everybody, and I don't think he's going to want to disappoint. I just think Caleb Williams is going to be too strong for Stanford. I look for USC to put up at least 40. So we're talking, 40 to 30, and we get the cover here. And I just don't see USC giving up that many points to Stanford. Unfortunately for us, when you go down the slate in college football, all these games are road games. So you got to be real tricky here. But my only thing is we're not going up against any major powers here. Kentucky's the only team on this list that's playing a solid football team. And when I say solid, I mean just, well-rounded, good coach, big home environment. Vandy ain't a home environment you're scared of. Georgia State certainly isn't. And Stanford lately has been just porous all around the board. So I really like the slate this week. We've got a total of 11 units out for them, mainly coming from Wake and UNC. And then moving down the board to Sunday, Sunday night game, actually, we're going to take the Denver Broncos -6.5 for 1 unit. Simple play here. We're going Russell Wilson versus Geno. Russell's going back to Seattle in his opening game. I love how the NFL does this. If there's one thing I can give them, it's like Baker Mayfield getting to play the Cleveland Browns. It's a lot of storylines that goes into week one when you got the ex-quarterback playing the new team. But simple as this to me, I think Denver is going to hit the ground running. It's a solid defensive team. I don't look for them to get torched by Geno by any means. Can they hold Rashad Penny in the backs there, which I believe they can probably keep them in check. And I just think Russell's going to want to put on a show. I mean, do I think that the Broncos are going to win by 30 points? No, but I mean to lay less than a touchdown here, I'm looking for this thing to be 31-17, 28-17, and we walk away with the 1 unit pickup. And then obviously down at the bottom here, you'll see we laid us a 4-way lay this week. I am never too crazy with parlays. I love betting them, but I'm not going to put massive amount of units on a parlay. This one to me has got our favorite college bets of the week: UNC, Wake, Kentucky, and USC all parlayed in there together. You can see Wake Forest there, if you look, is already up to 12.5. I'm so confident that I think Wake's going to destroy Vandy that I just went ahead and threw it in there anyway. It's a half-unit bet for me, so it's nothing major. Plus 12.30 on the money line, which would be a nice little payout. Like I said, no teasers ever, and we're going to rock some parlays out in a small fashion just to have a little fun with. And yeah, if you look over to the left, we've got the futures put up. We did not add anything over the week. And obviously as week one starts, the future bets kind of get a little more limited. But if you like anything you see there, I recommend taking it. I love that Bama plus 190 to win the Natty. I just think that's a tasty play. And yeah, so let's just make sure you're following on the Proper Picks Pod on Twitter. Get your bets in, guys. Let's go collect some coin, make some money. Hope everybody has a great week, chases the bag. College football's in full swing.